सबको लगता है कि लिक्विड इंजन मेरी वजह से फेल हुआ है, लेकिन सच तो यह है कि मैं आपकी वजह से फेल हुआ हूं। किसी कुत्ते को मारना हो तो अफवाह फैला दो कि वो पागल है। ठीक उसी तरह किसी इंसान को बर्बाद करना हो तो ये ऐलान कर दो कि वो देशद्रोही है। मुझे तुम लोगों से कोई कैरेक्टर सर्टिफिकेशन नहीं चाहिए, ना ही मैं यहाँ कोई पॉपुलैरिटी कॉन्टेस्ट जीतने आया हूँ। एक मिशन के लिए आए हैं।
अब सितारों तक पहुंचाने वाली जिम्मेदारी तुम्हारी।
क्या समझ रखा है मुझे? मैं एक रॉकेट साइंटिस्ट हूँ।
Madhavan sir, I'm absolutely delighted to have you on Filme Shilmy, and congratulations on Rocketry.
Thank you so much. Your congratulations are in advance, I guess. 1st of July is when I'll know how much of a congratulations I deserve.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's had a great launch at Cannes as well. And obviously, I think on the personal front, it's been great as well because of Vedant winning the silver medal for India. So it's a great inspiration to all of us. So,
Thank you
it's
so
wonderful
much.
for you.
Thank
Look,
you.
Rocketry is based on former ISRO scientist Nambi Narayanan, who fought years on end for justice after being falsely accused of espionage. So, as a first-time filmmaker, why did you choose this story, and how mentally prepared were you for it?
Nambi sir for me, and I've always completely swayed by Nambi sir's story when I first met him. There was a face that was full of angst, agony, and anger, and at the same time determination. And he was still hurt about the fact that after 15 odd years of being proved innocent, he was still being looked at as a spy, and he was referred to as a ISRO spy story whenever you go to Google, right? That was something that was really worrying him. And I thought the algorithm needed to be changed, basically. But what I was in for was a huge shock when I heard about the rest of his story, his achievements, for instance. And that achievement has been spectacular. His contribution to ISRO, to Indian space research, as well as the making the only engine that has never failed, the Vikas engine, plus his adventures in from Princeton to France to Russia to USSR. I mean, I thought I was going to make a small poor man's James Bond story. It turned out to be the father of James Bond, and that's it's been a privilege to tell his story, and that's why I selected it.
Right. Though an intriguing subject, science is quite a niche topic. And this is quite literally rocket science. So, yes. So how tough was it for you to, I guess, present science in a way which is perhaps engaging but also palatable for all audiences?
So I have not dumbed it down. I made sure I've kept it as real as possible. I think the audiences that watch Interstellar or Inception or Gravity, it didn't need to be dumbed down, and they watched it with aplomb here in India as well. So it is rocket science. You're not supposed to understand it. But for those who do, you will not cringe. You will also make sure that it is one of those films that you look at it and say, hey, they got the technicality right. And therefore, you're able to understand the brilliance of Dr. Nambi Narayanan. Again, I'm saying the brilliance of Nambi sir, so I didn't have to dumb it down much. I just had to understand the technology and present it in a manner that was understood by, at least that I understood it and understood by the scientist, and without having to cringe.
Okay, great. Now you're playing a character which spans several ages, and you are also the captain of the ship because, of course, like, you're directing the film. But how confident were you in self-assessing yourself as an artist? What else did you rely on, I think, perhaps to improve your craft as an actor?
So you know what, this is not a logical or a rational project. There was no way I could explain the kind of money I was spending on or the time I was spending on it. It was just a passion. It was just becoming a kind of a insanity for us. And all 150 people who were working on this project were very hell-bent on telling the story. All they wanted to do was tell Nambi sir's story, and that maniacal attitude is probably what got us here, without any rationale to it.
Right, and because you also play quite mature stages of Nambi sir's life, I guess, do you think that because you've almost reached this stage in your career as well, and perhaps experiences where you have reached that mature sort of stage, do you feel that really helped, I think, in internalizing the emotions of the character as well?
Well, Nambi sir is 78 years old. Anuj, are you calling me that old?
No, I was talking about exterior factors actually, and how that sort of.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm 52. It was just right in the middle of that circle, so I had to play him from 29, 30 to 80. So I'm right in the middle. So I could swing either ways. But looks wise, we managed. But to get the attitude right was actually the harder bit. Getting to know sir and spend too much time with him, that was extraordinary.
Listen, Maddie, sir, no matter how much older you get, you'll always be Maddie of Rehna Hai Tere Dil Mein for I think.
How sweet.
So आप तो मतलब
Thank
young रहोगे, so don't. I'm pretty certain about that. But look, I think it's great that the movie is releasing across several Indian languages, and that too on a big scale, with major stars like Surya and Shah Rukh Khan also playing an important role. But how pivotal is star value, even at a time like this, where we're seeing contents where the content itself perhaps is the star? How important is it, do you think, this whole star system
I
currently?
think it's very important. I think dawn of the days when you could take the content for granted. Absolutely. Be it a hardcore commercial film, or a film that is experimental, or a film that is high budgeted, if you do not have content that the audiences are in awe of, or at least respect you, you've already lost the battle. I mean, you only get residual revenues.
Right. But the talent exchange between South and North has always been there, I feel. And it's great that we're sort of seeing this influx of the exchange happening a lot more prominently. But Hindi cinema, I think, to an extent, was, I guess, depriving itself of a pan-Indian audience. So firstly, why do you feel this was the case? And going forward, how do you think the unity can perhaps impact the overall success Indian cinema celebrates?
I don't think that it has to do anything with the South or the North. It's just that the Northern audiences have taken a fancy to some of the South Indian films, 6, 7 of them at best. And those films have done better than Hindi film collections, in terms of heroes. And some Hindi films which were expected to collect big kind of just fell on their faces. But I think it has more to do with people's taste changing over a period of time through the COVID and the pandemic, as opposed to, or the audiences, the films and the makers taking the audiences for granted on either, in both sides of the industry. But I don't think that we've come to a stage where we can actually get into a fight or an argument. I mean, it's after all the Indian film industry, and we're all part of it. And I think soon we'll have actors crossing over a lot more. We already have villains crossing over and making movies in the South. I'm sure the heroes will cross over too on both sides. And eventually we need to make this into a very proud Indian film industry, no matter what the language is. I'm sure language agnostic films will happen technically in the next in less than a year, in my opinion.
That is great. And I'm all for that, actually. I'm loving, and I love the fact that hum ek pehchan ban chuki hai Indian cinema ki as a whole, and I think it's great. I think I'm all for it. You began as a romantic hero, and then slowly explored a variety of genres, be it thrillers to political dramas, even horror as well. I mean, 13B still to this day scares the S out of me. So I must tell you that. But when you began as an actor, was diversity and versatility something which always drove you in undertaking the roles and the work that you did?
Yeah, I won't put it under those two headings. I just put it under advanced, progressive scripts, stories that would help me showcase my talent and play to my strengths, as opposed to playing to the traditional demands of the industry. I had, unfortunately, the luxury of doing that without having to worry about not having recurring income over a period of time. But having the ability to choose subjects, gave me the freedom to transcend both this industries and make a film. So I won't say I was looking for diversity or looking for any particular type of films. It was just that it should resonate. The story should resonate with where I was at that point of time in my life. And more importantly, it should be aspirational in terms of what the audiences thought. So even when I did Tanu Veds Manu, people thought it was regressive, but I knew it was very, very progressive in its approach. It was about small town India coming on its own in terms of romance. It looked like until then there was no romance happening in any small town till we started the trend of making films where we showed love and romance in small towns and villages.
Yeah, true. On a parting note, because I know we have to wrap up, every time I've seen you on screen, you always radiate this charming, calm, and strong personality through your characters. So first part of the question is, where do you think all these virtues have come from? And second part is, how do you detach yourself from fame and popularity and keep focus as an artist?
I think it's a very conscious effort. It requires a little bit of commitment to do that. I'm very grateful for the fame and the love and affection of the people, but I don't want to get I wouldn't want that to get in the way of my ability to choose subjects or do my work. Secondly, I'm not driven by it. The fame and success is a byproduct of the work that I love to do, and not the other way around. I wouldn't do work just for the sake of fame and adulation. That's very difficult. And I always fall flat on my face when you assume that you know what the market is. So on that front, I've just been fortunate, but that I've been able to manage a level-headedness. But I think the wisdom has come over a period of time to treat those two imposters, success and failure, as the same.
Right. Well, look, on that note, I can't wait to see Rocketry literally head for a big launch and go infinity and beyond. I'm trying to add all the synonyms as possible for the film.
Very
I
kind, yeah.
can't wait
Thanks
to
a lot.
see the film. We've been waiting a long time to do this, Madhavan, and I'm really grateful.
Yeah, I know.
Due to Rocketry,
Yeah.
we've been able to make this happen. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much. Very sweet of you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, brother.
सर ये मरियम रशीदा का
पता नहीं, वो इसरो में काम कर रही थी।
मरियम यू नो हिम आई थिंक वी शुड फ्लाई टू कराची
जो टेक्नोलॉजी इस देश के पास है ही नहीं, वो मैं पाकिस्तान को कैसे बेच सकता हूँ सर?